What's up, you guys? I hope you're having a great weekend. Today, we're going to be talking about Virgin Galactic Holdings, stock symbol SPCE. Currently, it's the only publicly traded company that's in space tourism industry. Now, before we begin, I want you to know that this company does not really have a good fundamental story. It does not really have a technical story either. It's purely a speculative play for the long term. But I do think this is one of the stronger speculative plays with much greater potential. So let's begin by looking at some of the recent articles regarding this company. Last week, Virgin Galactic sold off some of its shares to come up with cash. Now, on May 19th, they sold $41 million worth of it, and it looks like by the end of the week, they sold more shares, total of 25 million shares, coming to be about $445 million. Now, the reason why they sold these shares is because their other company, the Virgin Atlantic airline, they're having a very difficult time because no one's really flying. So they needed to come up with the cash to help save that company. It had nothing to do with Virgin Galactic. However, I do think this is a bit of a negative because companies like Virgin Galactic, as I'll talk about later, but it does not make profit right now. So it needs all the financial support backing it can get. So I think it is a slight negative that they have to sell off some of the shares to plug in holes in their other companies. This article has a positive spin on Virgin Galactic. It talks about potentially, right now, there's about 2 million people who can easily afford the trip. Now, the trip currently is $250,000. A cool $250,000 for a 5-minute trip. And right now, they're saying there's about 2 million people in the world who can easily afford that. Now, as they are able to reduce the cost of the trip, they expect that number to increase exponentially. They're mentioning it'll increase about 10 times to 40 million people. I don't know how they got 40 million people going from 2 million and 10 times as many, but they're saying either 10 times or 40 million people, one or the other. It's a huge increase. And similarly, people are expecting a decade from now, space tourism market could reach potentially $3 billion. Another positive article or opinion about the company. Now, the company, as I said, is not making profit right now. It's burning through cash. However, at this time, current assets is about at $536.6 million. And their liabilities is at $115.8 million. So even though they're burning through cash, they still have enough assets right now to be able to continue operating despite the cash burn. And they've started taking reservations. The refundable reservation is at $1,000 right now, and they have more than 400 reservations at this time. And that potentially equals to about $100 million in potential revenue. And on a side note, it has a large short interest rate at 41%, which is really huge. So that tells you there are as many bears as bulls on this, pretty much. So again, it's a very speculative stock, so you'll have many differing opinions on it. Let's take a look at some more negative articles, the bear side. So this one, again, it focuses more on the company fundamentals. Virgin Galactic, no profit, very little revenue at this time. And it also mentions some of its competition. Mainly, it has SpaceX, which is owned by Elon Musk, as well as Blue Origin, which is owned by Jeff Bezos. So these are some very rich, smart people founding these space tourism companies. Now, Virgin Galactic is also owned by a very extraordinary billionaire, Sir Richard Branson. So all three of them really has a lot of money, has been super successful, very, I guess, similar in that aspect. And yeah, space doesn't turn profit yet. Revenue was measly $238,000 in the last earnings report. Net loss of $60 million. It does mention, again, it does have some cash to burn. This article mentions $490 million at the time of March 31st. One more negative article. It's too early to think long-term about Virgin Galactic. Again, it mentions the cash burn, and this article says cash burn will accelerate as they continue to put money into research and development, continue to test the spaceships and whatnot. Mentions money loss, burning through cash, estimated annual cash burn of $225 million. The positive point is that they reported having cash or cash equivalent of $490 million for 2020 Q1. However, there's no timeline on positive cash flow. So at this time, we just don't know when they'll be able to make money. As I was researching articles and about the company, it reminded me of another company, coincidentally owned by one of the main competition to Virgin Galactic. It reminded me of Tesla, owned by Elon Musk. Tesla for a long time was also burning through a lot of cash. It had huge short interest. It was considered a very speculative play. And although currently I don't think as many people are doubting Tesla, for a very long time Tesla went through kind of the same thing as Virgin Galactic. They are also both owned by extraordinary billionaires who have been successful in their other endeavors, and they are a little bit eccentric. And I mean that in the nicest way. I think to be at the top of your industry, you have to be a little bit crazy. If you're just normal, if you're ordinary, I don't know if you have what it takes to be at the top. So on those aspects, both companies have a lot of similarities. I know it's a different time. When Tesla was going through this, the market, the economy was on a huge upward trend. Right now, because of what happened about 2 months ago, we're a little bit in a lull or even downward turn. So little bit of difference, but I think the story itself is very similar. Taking a look at the chart here, it had a great run towards the beginning of the year, all the way up to a high of 42.49. and then it came crashing down. That one, I think it landed a little bit below $10 or so. It looks like about $9.34, somewhere there. And then since then, it has been pretty much trading in this horizontal channel. Not going really up, not going really down. It did have a good day on Friday, May 22nd. So that went up about, I think it was about, let's see, 7%. Yeah, so a very good day. But overall, it's still within this channel here. So I say this about long-term investments. Really, if you're looking at really long-term, it doesn't matter that much whether you're getting in at 1583 or $15 or 1450. In the long run, in the bigger picture, like whether you get in here, or here, if it turns out as you are speculating, you're gonna make a lot of money, right? So if you're going to be holding onto the stock for quite a long time, and I'm talking about few years to 10 years or more, then it does not matter too much. So just enter with what you're comfortable with. At least that's my philosophy. With long-term investments. For short term, yes, it matters a lot. But for the long term, it does not have as much impact as you would think. So as a final wrap up, stock symbol SPCE, Virgin Galactic Holdings. It's the only publicly traded stock that deals with space tourism at this time. It's a long-term speculative play. It does not have a fundamental story yet. It does not really have a technical story yet either because it's pretty new. This stock reminds me a lot of Tesla, being that it's not making profit yet. It's burning through cash, although it has some cash to last. It's both backed by billionaires who are considered to be visionaries of our time, and both companies have a huge short interest. So if the stock goes up on good news, good catalyst, then there's going to be a big short squeeze pushing the stock price even higher. And as I mentioned, humans have always continued to evolve for the better with technological advancements, and they continue to test the upper limits, try the impossible, and so far, I would say, have always succeeded in advancing the human society. So if you believe in that idea, if you believe in humanity, then I think, as I believe, we will be able to travel into space in the future. And when we do that, Virgin Galactic, as one of the 3 companies right now who are at the forefront of this industry, I think will be able to reap huge benefits, and the stock price will, as a result, go up. How much will it go up? Who knows? But I think with technological advancements, maybe a good catalyst, good news, I think the potential is huge enough to easily take out the previous high of $42.49 and continue going up and up and up. And that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know down in the comment section below what you think of Virgin Galactic, whether you think it's a good play or whether you think it'll flop. And if you have not, please subscribe to the channel and like the video. It helps me out a lot. Thank you once again, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.